Hello there, my name's Claire and I am Stitch Hem Sew on Instagram. This is my first ever YouTube video. Please bear with me, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I thought I'd give it a go. I'm taking part in 5 questions, 1 take, which is a challenge or thing currently running on YouTube that other sewing vloggers are taking part in. If you look for the hashtag 5 questions, 1 take, there's lots of people that have presented far better vlogs than myself, but I just thought I'd give it a go. I'm taking up the challenge that Frugalissima and Alex Judge, Sam at Frugalissima and Alex Judge suggested in their video, so that if you've been thinking about doing a YouTube video, this might be a good place to start. So here I am giving it a go, so bear with me and we'll see how I get on. The first question of it is, what was your sewing journey and what does it look like? I am your classic lockdown sewer. I started sewing in the July 2020, and after watching Sewing Bee for many years, I watched the Sewing Bee of that year. In fact, I've watched all the Sewing Bees probably several times now, and I love them. And I've always wanted to learn to sew. It's always inspired me, but I've never got on and done it. And then in the July 2020, I said to my husband, I'd really like to buy a sewing machine, and he said to me, just do it. You've been talking about this on and off for ages, please just do it, so that I stop hearing about it and you can at least talk about the sewing rather than wanting to sew. So that's what I've done, that's what I did. I started off sort of relearning the basics and making small craft projects and things, tote bags, the classic tote bag, the classic scrunchie, little gift bags, that sort of thing, little presents for people, before moving on to clothes, to garments. My sewing journey before that, I guess, started, well, I've always done artsy crafty type stuff as long as I can remember. As a teenager, I spent a lot of time knitting and hand sewing and doing things like quilling and lace making. I did as a child, which is a really unusual thing to do as a child, I think, but there was a local group and a lovely lady called Mrs. Hines ran that group, and she took me under her wing. She was like a surrogate grandparent to me, and she taught me all sorts of different crafts. She let me use her sewing machine. She taught me the basics of learning using a sewing machine and how to set it all up, wind the bobbin, all that sort of thing. And I did a few small projects on her machine, so that's kind of where that bit started. And I did a tiny bit of sewing at secondary school. Again, I think I made like a cushion. In fact, I know I made a cushion. It had an elephant's bottom on it. I don't know why. I don't know why I did that. I obviously thought it was really cool at the time. I was young. That's all I can say. But since retaking up the craft, since sort of July time last year, I've made a number of different garments. You can see one in the background there. Oh, I can't quite. There we go. This is, and you can't really see it very well hanging on a hanger like that, but it is the Friday Pattern Company dress. Oh my goodness, I've forgotten the name. No, it's completely gone. It's like a faux wrap type dress. No, the name of it is gone. I'll try and, I don't know, put it in the description notes, or is that what people do on YouTube? Like, some people are really clever and they put like a little note across. I've got no expectation that I'll be able to achieve that. So I'll try and put in what that dress is. I've made maybe, I don't know, 20 garments now, mostly for myself, some for my children. I've got 2 children. I'm a mum of 2 boys. I've made a few things for them, mostly pyjamas, and I've made a hoodie for my husband and a t-shirt and some pyjamas for him, and I've made a cardigan for my mum and a t-shirt for my dad, but mostly stuff for myself. All kind of basic patterns. I love a free pattern, because when you're learning to sew and you don't necessarily want to spend huge amounts of money on fabric and patterns, a free pattern is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. I love Sam at Frugalissima's channel for that, because she's given me loads of inspiration about different patterns, etc., that are free, which I think is a great place to start when you're new to sewing, and the chances are you might mess it up, which I've probably done along the way. So the next question is, describe your sewing space. Where is it? Is it a private space? Is it a shared space? Is it messy? Is it tidy? I have a corner of my bedroom that I sew in. I started off on the dining room table, but quickly my husband realised that this was something that I was going to stick at, and we decided to carve out a small area just in the bedroom where I could leave my sewing machine set up and have all my bits and pieces. So I've got some shelves just above me and shelves to the side of me here, and I've got some drawers under the desk where I keep my bits and bobs, and that's my space. So yeah, it's a shared space because it's my bedroom. I keep it fairly tidy because of that reason. Otherwise I would just spend my time from my bed thinking, oh, and also I don't think that I would feel very creative if it was a real mess to begin with. So I try to keep it as tidy as possible, although saying that, I do have kind of a messy corner down to the side of me, where all my scraps of fabric land. I have got like a couple of sort of bins down there that I chuck stuff in, and periodically I sort of tidy through and take out the bigger scraps and put the other smaller scraps to the side. Maybe one day I'll make one of those closet core puffs that everybody makes and they fill them with scraps. I'll just have to see. I'm really close to this camera. I'm sorry. I'll try, if I do this again, I'll try and do much better. You can probably like see my spots and things. Hopefully you can't. The next question, what is it like to be a sewing YouTuber? Has it met your expectations? I have no expectations. This is the first time. There are no expectations to be had. I would be amazed if one person even watches this. So perhaps if you have watched it, you could give me a thumbs up or something, because that would be great. People talk about subscribing and hitting the notification bell, so if you fancy doing that as well, then fantastic. But as I say, I have no expectation that this is going to be a roaring success. We'll see what happens, but welcome along if you're here and you've stuck with me this far. I won't waffle on for too much longer, so please stick with me. That would be fantastic. Describe your most memorable project. This could be like a garment that you've worn to an event, or because it's been an epic fail, or because it's been a roaring success. As I say, I haven't been sewing for that long. I haven't made something that's particularly amazing. I'd love to make a coat in the future, or a pair of jeans, or a big project like that, but at the moment those sort of things quite scare me. I haven't really done anything where I've had to fit anything major. I've done lots of jersey things. I have got an overlocker. I just bought a cheap one that was from Lidl. They're one that's, I don't know, just over £100 or something, but that served me really well. And I've sort of done lots of knit fabric garments. I've done a few. I'm so sorry, I've got a real like froggy throat. I've had a bit of a cold, and it's left me with like this sort of croakiness. It's not COVID or anything, just, you know, common old cold. Anyway, this proves that it's like one take. That's what you're supposed to do, apparently. Anyway, my most successful garment, probably because I've had the most people say, oh, I like what you're wearing today, of which I haven't necessarily said thanks, I've made it, I've just said thanks, because I'm a bit shy about that. I don't know how other people feel about saying thank you, I made it. I'm okay with like my family, but I feel quite coy about it, really. Lots of people don't really know that I sew yet, just because I haven't really been doing it very long. But I guess in time I will tell more people, and then maybe it'll be more natural to say thanks, I made it. But the dress that I've probably had the most comments about is this one, which is a Tilly and the Buttons Lotta dress. Really simple project. As I say, I haven't made anything major. This one is made from a woven fabric from a viscose fabric that I got from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. I love that shop for the fact that their fabrics are really affordable, so for someone like myself who's just learning to sew, you don't feel like you're cutting into a really expensive fabric that you're really scared to cut into, and that if you mess it up, which I'm always thinking that I will do, that it does, you know, it's not a massive issue if you've messed it up. Although saying that, I think there have been a couple of things along the way that I've made a bit of a boo-boo in, but you can always use fabric to try making a section of the pattern if you're making a toile, or if you're I'm so sorry if you're you can use them to, you know, make scrunchies or, I know, bits and bobs. So there's always something you can kind of repurpose stuff for. So this pattern, so this fabric, as I say, is a viscose fabric. It's a lovely yellow background with these sort of white flowers with black dots on. I can't remember whether I bought it as a remnant piece or whether it was just one of their sale fabrics. As I say, they're nice because you don't feel like you're spending loads of money on something that might go a bit Pete-Tong. So that one I've had the most success. Well, it's been the most commented on dress. The final question, which you'll be grateful for because my voice is not holding out well, so apologies for that. It's one quote saying, piece of advice that you've gotten or that you live by, that really helps you with your sewing journey or your YouTube channel. Well, obviously this is the first YouTube channel, so we'll discount that bit. But in relation to sewing, the lady that taught me lots of arts and crafts, her real thing was, if it goes wrong, just fudge it, it'll be okay. And I definitely kind of live by that. I have her in my head when I'm sewing, when things go right, when things go wrong, of her saying that to me, you know, you can always just change things a bit to make things work, and sometimes those things turn out to be the best projects, the ones that did go a little bit wrong and you had to think out the side of the box and make something work. And my other thing would be, just do it. Just go and buy yourself a sewing machine. Just do it. Just set the camera up and record. Just do it. So that's me. That's me done. If anybody wants to know what I'm wearing, you can't really see it, but I have got on a Harper cardigan out of a lovely cable knit fabric that I bought from First for Fabrics. This is my most recent make. Actually, I'll just put the camera up so that it's not seeing me at a weird angle. Yeah, it's my most recent make. It's a free pattern. It's a pattern I've made before. I love it. I am between 5'8", 5'9", so quite tall. And Sinclair Patterns, who are the designer behind this pattern, they do their patterns not only obviously in kind of size ranges, but also in height. So they have like a petite, a regular, I don't know whether they're described as that, and a tall. And so it meant that I didn't have to add any extra length to the arms or the bodice or anything, which is just a treat. So I really must have a look at their website and have a look at their other patterns, because I know they've got a massive range of and selection of patterns out there, and see what other things they have. This top here was probably, I think, my second ever garment, and it's a Mandy Boutique. It's just in a I bought it as a remnant from Closs and Hamblin, I think that's how you pronounce it. It was like an 80 centimetre piece, so it doesn't actually have sleeves. I've just used the pattern to create like a grown on sleeve and cut it off there, it's actually made out of it. The quality of the jersey is really nice, so it washes really well. That's the sort of thing my mum would say. But yeah, it does wash really, really well. I'm sorry, I've made myself laugh as like one of those like memories that you have in the back of your head. Yeah, so I haven't made this pattern again. I found that it came out massive on me. I had to take in the sides loads. I didn't really know what I was doing at that stage, but I still wear it because, as I say, the fabric, I really like the fabric. And under a cardi, it's quite nice in the winter months. I don't like the sleeves so much on it, so I prefer to wear it underneath something, but it looks nice with, well, I think it looks okay with a cardi. Yeah, I think I'm done. I think that's me. I'm sorry for all the ums. I'm sorry this isn't very slick. Perhaps I will try again another time. If you feel like leaving me a comment or liking or subscribing or doing all those things that people tell you to do when you're watching a YouTube video, then that would be great. Thank you for sticking by me if you've got to this point in the video, and I will say goodbye for now. Thanks very much then. Bye.